What's that?
Hmm?
That? What you were blubbing?
Oh, it's how I picture the new Avril Lavigne song might sound underwater.
What? Wait, the new Avril Lavigne song?
Hmm.
How would you know about the new Avril Lavigne song?
Well, I wouldn't, would I?
No, you wouldn't. There isn't any music here.
Don't get upset.
Why?
I heard it on the radio.
Radio? What radio?
The clock radio in the other room.
But it's just a box.
It's kind of not exactly just a clock radio anymore.
What do you mean, not exactly just?
It doesn't like being called a clock radio for a start.
It doesn't like it. What?
It prefers to be called Cliché Radio.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of alive.
The clock's alive.
Yeah.
Was this Beauty and the Beast? Are we in Beauty and the Beast?
And if the standard of beauty is
okay.
That's not the worst of it.
What?
Well, see, I was trying to spare you, man. I mean, it's not easy. I mean, yeah, okay, you can find out a bit about what's going on in the real world, but there's a price.
A price?
Ho, ho, ho!
Just because I said it before and I really liked it, I'm going to say it again.
Okay.
Good welcome!
Hi-ho!
That seems like I don't know if that's going to become. I don't know. We'll see. If you like it, then say it, and then I'll keep it on the thing. Welcome back to Maybe Movies on our penultimate episode of the month, and also a kind of our penultimate episode of this season of the show.
Indeed. Of the year.
Of the year as well. Oh my god! If we still had years.
If we did.
Anyway, hello, welcome back. Thank you for joining us again. We are about to launch into Act 2. That's of what we're doing. Oh yeah, Gremraiser, which sees the Cotton family from Hellraiser living it up in Kingston Falls and about to have more friends over to stay.
Oh yes, lots of new friends.
Yes. Before we do, I don't know about you, but
libations.
Nom, 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 nom. Oh, sorry.
We'll take that.
Because then what's going to happen is, I'm going to say, have that back for a second, so I can put this down.
Of course.
Bosh.
One.
Oh, cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
And cheers to everyone at home as well. Once again, thank you, everybody who has subscribed to the channel in the past week. You are all fantastic people, and I hope you're having the best of everything wherever it is you happen to be.
Thank you!
I believe... See, again, I keep getting these weird things. I think there's a thing going on that somebody said that they're going to do a special episode of them moving around the flat if we get to 200 by the end of the year.
Oh.
Thank you very much. We will do a very quick shout-out as well, which today is for one of our absent Delirium Naughts or Delriumites? What are we? Are we Delirium Naughts or Delriumites?
Delriumites.
Delriumites? Okay. Yeah. It does roll off the tongue better, doesn't it?
It does.
Yes.
It's a little...
but yes, this is for our good friend Chris Smith, who is a filmmaker, a writer, director, a producer. He's doing a lot more producing stuff now with other companies, but he also has his own company as well, Television Bandits, for which he's produced a number of film or feature films, including I'm Still Here.
Of course, yes.
And, of course, Set Me Free.
Both of which we appear in some fashion or other.
Yeah, I was more heavily involved in Set Me Free because I co-wrote the script for it.
Oh, yes, of course you did, yes.
Yeah, and obviously was in it as well, which you can find. I'll put links to them all in the description below. Before we do get into this final thing, just a quick reminder, as it is the penultimate show of the month, that at the same time as this is going out, our poll will be going up as well. So that today will be up on the Maybe Movies Twitter page. It will also be on the Maybe Movies Patreon page as well. I think I can put it on the Zadrum LinkedIn as well. I think I can do a poll on there. I'll run it on there as well.
Oh, yeah, we'll give it a try.
Yeah. And then on Friday, it will be going out as a story on the Zadrum Instagram and also on the Facebook page as well.
So lots of ways to vote, folks.
Yes. And for the ones that I can do any length of time off, because we're not doing anything ready for the beginning of next year, I'll run them up until just after Christmas. So I'll run them until the 27th.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, got lots of time to vote, folks, but don't delay. Get your vote in. Let us know what you think.
We may be doing a special for New Year's Eve, or for New Year's Day, as well. So rather than having to wait until the beginning of February to get the results for this month, we'd look at doing it on there as well. But we will let you know about that for definite on Friday's show.
Yeah.
Act 2. There's a couple of little things with this one. I did make some notes. But we're getting into parts of the script where our protagonist has very little to do. And a lot of Act 2 is the effect that the gremlins have on the town, which means we don't get a lot, or in this case, won't be getting a lot of Kirsty at all. The early part, yes, but the later parts of the act, it's just pretty much all gremlins.
Yeah. There were basically 3 major scenes in the act that would involve Kirsty, and the rest of it is montage or affecting other characters entirely.
Just to very quickly take a step back into the previous act. You know, we were having a bit of a discussion about Kirsty not having all of the comics and stuff, so what's Corey Feldman doing? And we said just looking at the TV, which makes perfect sense. If you so choose, instead, you're kind of looking around and you just like pick something up off the shelf and it's in the box. Just as a little nod.
Yes, why not? Let's.
I do have a question, and again, I know I'm not supposed to ask questions. Why does Billy take Barney to work? There's no reason for it. His mum's at home all day. There shouldn't be a problem leaving him there.
That's a really good question. I think because Hollywood, because they needed the fight to happen.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
It might be.
Although I must admit, again, having watched this film, the amount of times that I have seen it, he's probably the best behaved pet.
He really is, isn't it? Yeah, he doesn't get mental at anything, does he?
No. Although I did notice when I was editing it, because I was looking for a bit of piece of footage, and if you play it back in slow motion, he does stare at the camera at one point.
Oh, well.
When he's under the desk.
Oh, right, okay.
But anyway, sorry, we're not actually getting on with the act itself. Let's have a look at this.
Oh, right, okay, so we don't have all that much Kirsty, but there's also the scene with what will now be Julia.
Yes, well, I mean, my first thought was, because obviously Julia isn't Lynn, she's a very different person, her first reaction to seeing the cocoons, I can imagine she'd want them out of the house.
Oh, yes, disgusting,
yes,
foul, creepy things.
There's the possibility of throwing a spanner in the works if we're staying true to the character, that when when Kirsty leaves for the day, that she just removes them, chucks them out in the garden and burns them.
Okay. I see what you're saying, and there is a good chance that she would do that. So we're just going to have to because movie here.
We could have her putting her gloves on and stuff, getting stuff to go up there. It's early in the morning. Ring at the door. Judge Reinhold's popped round to say hi.
Oh.
Because obviously her husband...
So she gets distracted.
Yes, Larry's away. He knows that Kirsty's at work. He's the junior vice president.
Yeah, we did say we were going to do it, so yes, let's...
Yeah. So we could throw him in there, so he's just taken the morning off.
Yeah.
Because I suddenly thought there's that little bit, when the later in the act, when the bank manager is coming out of his office with the lady who, Mrs. Harris, is it? With the 2 kids, and he passes through them to go into the office. So we can keep that, kind of adds an extra significance to that scene, because it's then establishing that he's back at work.
Okay, yes. Yeah, okay. Let's do this. Let's do that. That solves the problem, and we don't have to spend a because movie.
No, we don't.
Right, that takes us on a little way. So we're finding the cocoons.
They've hatched. Oh, sorry, am I too soon for that?
We're losing the round at the convention here, obviously, because Larry's... Why did we have Larry going away?
We hadn't established that yet, but again, because we're saying that if he works for the Peltzer company, he's going on a business trip, so he could be going on a business trip to a convention.
Oh, right, as a
as a rep.
As a rep. Okay, okay, that's great, yes.
So we would keep all of that, That just again slightly different reaction from him because Larry's not.
Yeah,
around.
he's not the inventor; he's the salesman, but
Yeah.
it's still the same pitch.
Yeah,
Yeah, I get it. Okay, yeah, that works.
my other thought.
I'm going to give you a star for that because that was a
thank
nice little bit of the movie we would have lost otherwise.
Yes. Oh, so my other thought with that, but again, it would have made another possible problematic moment. Would have been he's. Again, Larry being a businessman, not just purely an inventor, he's really taken by this idea of marketing the Mogwai, and he takes one to the office. But that then distorts the entire story.
It does, creates a problem with the third act.
Yeah, because again, it could then be that we end up with two storylines. You've got the events in Kingston Falls, and then you've got the events wherever he is, with the gremlin running around there.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like maybe we should avoid that for the sake of just not complicating the movie for ourselves.
Fair enough. Thank you for the start, by the way. But yes, so we get Mr. Hanson, cocoon stage, metamorphosis, yada yada yada. There's nothing else really at this point then until they hatch.
They hatch, and then
So we get the scene
hatching, the scene with Mr. Hanscom.
and then with Julia. That's the big one, isn't it?
It's, Christy and the Gremlin at school.
Oh yes, of course, because he comes. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be much different, do you?
Not really. No, it's probably going to run on rails.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the circumstances cause the action of the character.
Exactly.
So...
And then we get, Julia at home.
Yeah, Julia at home. Do you hear about
Again, I think it's going to go pretty much the same. I just think she's going to be a lot more... She's not going to be as timid to start with.
She'll be more disgusted and far less timid.
Although saying that, I did notice, and I never noticed it before Lynn goes into the living room, once she's killed the three in the kitchen, before she leaves, she stops and turns and makes a point of taking a couple of steps towards the microwave and stares right into it. And there's almost like bloodlust in her eyes. It's like, whoa!
Just making sure, just being absolutely sure that you're not going anywhere, pal. So, you know what? It's going to... We've made a railroad here, I think, folks.
I think we have for this act. The only things that I'm seeing is... No, Kirsty, no, she doesn't like Julia, but it's not going to stop her from saving her.
No. She's a good girl.
Yeah. I did wonder whether or not, again, Julia is a lot more unshakable than Lynn. Would she insist on going with her? I think we might need to just up her injuries a little bit so that she's not capable of doing so.
Yes, we should. Also, I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I think she would be angry. She would be, I told you the animal was nothing but bloody trouble.
Of course she would.
And you wouldn't listen.
Yeah, of course
Your
she would.
father would listen, just like always.
Yeah.
I feel like there'd be an argument, a screaming match, actually.
So when the doctor comes to the door, it's the two of them on the doorstep arguing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my pitch.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
No, that's a good one. I like it.
Yeah, if we want to follow through from her not being very enthusiastic about the Mogwai in the first place.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then we get going to the cops.
We're retrieving Gizmo,
Oh,
then
yes.
the pool.
Oh, of course it is. So for some reason in my head I had the cops before the pool, but of course it is.
Yeah, no, it's not until the pool, and then he goes to run into the cops to say, we've got a problem.
Again, can't really see that being a lot different. I was
Little
almost tempted
details.
to-
I think Kirsty would be quicker to show Gizmo.
Yeah.
As soon as they showed any hesitation, he'd go, look, it's one of these things, but when something happens to them.
So I was going to say, the only thing I thought was possibly, and I don't know why, I think when Stripe dumps into the pool, she might try and stick a hand in after him. But I agree with the cops. Again, I knew it was taking me ages to figure it out. The deputy, Jonathan Banks.
From Beverly Hills Cop, amongst other things.
Yes, but also from Breaking Bad.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, and I was just like, of course it is. I always remember him as a mook, because I think he was in the 80s.
Yeah, he was the guy that killed Axel's friend in Beverly Hills Cop.
Yes, of course he was.
Yeah.
But I think he used to be in the A-Team. He was a mook in there a few times.
He was. There was also, oh god, I forgot the show. There was a short-lived sci-fi show called, I want to say something. It was something like Outlands or something.
Oh, that rings a bell.
It was like an alternative universe that this family kept getting sucked into.
Right.
And it was like all sci-fi. They had these weird shaped guns that looked really groovy and shit. But I'm sure he was one of the lead goons
in that
as well.
But yes, I agree. She'd whip out the Mogwai. a lot quicker.
Yes, she would, and she'd be more feisty with them as well.
And I think there'd be a lot more condescension from the cops.
Yeah, more condescension, but more anger from her because of it.
Yes.
Yeah. But yes, ultimately, it's going to end the same way. They're not going to believe a word she says.
And then we get Bedlam in the town.
A very extended montage of chaos.
I wondered if at some point during this we could just slot in a scene of Julia and Judge Reinhold having to fight off gremlins.
Oh, yes, why not? Yes.
Yeah. For some reason, I don't know, there's something about Judge Reinhold. He's almost like he would be the perfect casting if the States did Carry On. I could see him in a US Carry On film for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, I could see that. Especially if you've ever seen Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
It's one of the ones with him I haven't seen.
Ah, interestingly, Judge Reinhold and Phoebe Cates in a very interesting scenario.
Okay.
Yes, it's the sort of thing that fuels a lot of teenaged boys' lives.
Right, okay. I'll have to give it a look. Cool. Speaking of Phoebe Cates, I did just write down here, Call Drop Dead Fred.
Awesome movie.
Yes.
Dog poo, lots of lovely dog poo.
But we get Dory's and then to the bank.
And to the bank, yes, and then we get Kate's tail.
Which is the end of Act 2.
Yeah, kind of on rails there, folks. Apart from that one because movie we had to work our way around.
Yes, exactly, yeah. And I must admit, I can see, again, I think Act 3 is going to be very similar. I can see one possible breakpoint, but we'll come to that next time.
Yes, okay.
But that's about all I've got for this one.
We reached the end of the act, it seems, folks.
Cool. So, lovely, lovely mulled wine, and a day's break, and we'll be back on the 23rd for our final show of the year, and Act 3 of this, and our votes for our Christmas winner.
So, please come back and join us on Friday, folks.
Until then, take care.
As always, guys, TTFN.
Ba 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 ba.